on the horizon. Cesar Torres gave the Orioles a 2-1 lead in the fifth. But then the rains came, a lengthy delay, flooding issues, and finally when play resumed, it was the Indians that broke out. Andy Marte's 3-run home run gave the Tribe the win. Today it's sunny at Camden Yards, the finale of 4 on Masson. It's Orioles baseball on Masson today on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon at Camden Yards. The Orioles getting set to take on the Cleveland Indians. It's the finale of the 4-game weekend series. And hi everyone, I'm Jim Hunter. Thanks for joining us today. We could not have better weather conditions if we ordered it up, in particular following last night's rain and rain delay, as the Orioles today look for a win to try to gain a 4-game series split. And over the past 2 weeks now, the Orioles starting pitching has really become very, very consistent, and game in and game out has been giving the team a chance to win. Here's a look over the last 11 games. Jeremy Guthrie and Jason Birkin each 2-0. Chris Tillman 0-2 despite a very credible ERA of 3.31. David Hernandez 0-1, and Brian Mattis 1-0 in his last 2 starts despite the ERA of 6.10. Buck Martinez, Brian Mattis on the mound today, and what the Orioles are looking for with Brian, where's the consistency? Will today be the day?
Yeah, and it's all about winning right now. You can see the last time through the rotation, a couple of wins for Jeremy Guthrie, but Brian Mattis is looking for a little adjustment in his release point. His arm had gotten down a little bit lower than it was early in Bowie, and he likes to get it back a little higher, get a little more depth on his breaking ball. He's really had trouble this year with right-handed hitters, a 4.02 average. The record's 2-2, that's okay. ERA way out of whack compared to what he did in the minor leagues, but I think Brian has his finger on what the problem is. He needs to get his hand back on top of the baseball. That'll add more depth to his breaking ball and a little sharper break on his slider.
So today it's the finale of the 4-game series as the Orioles get set to take on the Indians. Birds looking for a win for a 4-game series sweep. Even Babe Ruth is at the game. Lineups at first pitch are next. Book your next trip at southwest.com. Well, just moments ago, a flyover over Camden Yards as the newly returning pilots of the 175th wing of the Middle River, Maryland flyover, consisting of the 104th Fighting Squadron, a unit of A-10 jets. And look at that. How beautiful is that, flying right over Oriole Park at Camden Yards on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon. Southwest Airlines starting lineups for the Indians: Brady Sizemore, Jamie Carroll, and Asdrubal Cabrera. Sin-Soo Choo with Johnny Peralta DHing. Matt Laporta in left field has really killed the Orioles in this series. 7 out of 13, a home run. Also made a great play defensively last night. Andy Marte, Luis Valbuena, and Wyatt Torriegas will catch him bat ninth.
Now it's time for the PNC scouting report for the Orioles. Looked at Brian Mattis. He throws all 4 pitches. His arm angle, it needs to be a little bit higher. He made that adjustment in his last side session. He was down and really kind of slinging the ball and throwing around his breaking ball. And right-handers have given him all sorts of problems, which could be a result of that lowered arm angle and the flattened breaking ball.
Well, Mattis making his 6th major league start. There are the numbers, 2-2, and the ERA, as Buck mentioned, higher than he's accustomed to at 6.46. And the first pitch is in there for a strike, and we are underway. Brady Sizemore, the leadoff hitter for the Tribe. Beautiful day, 83 degrees, slight wind at 10 miles an hour out of the west. And Sizemore hits a high pop down the left field line. PA charging in on it, still coming now on foul ground. He has it for the out, and 1 down here in the Indians' first inning. So on 2 pitches, Mattis gets an out.
A tough high sky here today with a lot of bright sun, and the outfielders and infielders going to have to really help one another on locating that ball and staying with it. PA had a long run. I saw no indication whatsoever he was having any problems with his legs, and that's good news.
The 1 down, here's Jamie Carroll, who came off the bench last night and had a pinch hit in the 8th inning. It drove in a run and gave the Indians a big insurance run, and Mattis comes right at him. There's a strike. Brian coming off a no decision in his last start. He worked Tuesday in Minnesota at the Metrodome, and he really labored through a 5-inning game. Just outside.
Yeah, he was really out of whack in his delivery, and because of that, he never really got into a groove, and he fell behind often. Couldn't really throw a good breaking ball, and he's optimistic today it's going to be a different story for him.
Ball on a strike on Carroll. Mattis deals, check swing, and appeal to first, and no swing, says Kevin Causey. So that's a check swing, and the count to 2-1 on Jamie Carroll. Mattis right back at him, and it's fouled off. The Indians, like the Orioles, are a team in transition. They have made so many moves. Jamie Carroll's one of the holdovers, and one of the things about having a guy like Carroll, Buck, he's a veteran. He plays several positions, and he understands his role coming off the bench.
Yeah, man, he's really helps with Eric Wedge and his versatility in that he can play several different positions. You can use him as a utility player, but give him enough at bats to stay sharp. He had a fractured hand early in the season that knocked him out of playing time. But as we saw last night, he understands coming off the bench. You've got to have good at bats, put the ball in play, and he knocked in a run for the Indians late in the game.
Eric Wedge, the skipper for the Indians, has seen many of his named players traded away, and there's a high fly ball right field. Easy play for Nick Markakis, and he has it for the out, and 2 men down, and the Orioles, Buck, defensively playing very well.
Last night, Adam Jones robbed 2 extra base hits, brought 1 back in the ballpark. Wigginton at first, Roberts at second. The defense has really played well of late. Only 1 error in the last 6 games. They have 30 outfield assists. Nick Markakis is second in the American League. The team total highest in the American League, and Melvin Moore has played very well all year long defensively at third base.
So Mattis gets the first 2 outs, trying to get through the difficult first inning. And here is Asdrubal Cabrera, who fouls it straight back. 0-1 on Cabrera.
Take a look at the defensive alignment. P.A. Jones and Markakis in the outfield. Stewart and Roberts have putting on a show defensively over the last several weeks. Wigginton and Scott at the corners, and Wieters is behind the plate.
Bunt attempt, and it's fouled straight back, so it's 0-2. Asdrubal Cabrera, the Indian shortstop, he has put on some kind of a show defensively in this series. Mattis ahead 0-2. Breaking ball called, strike three. What an inning for Brian Mattis. Came right at the three hitters and retires the side. 3 up and 3 down. Indians can't score. We're going to the bottom of the first. And here come the Birds. Brian Roberts, Felix PA, and Adam Jones with Nick Markakis in the cleanup spot. Nolan Reimold will DH today. Luke Scott at first base. And Matt Wieters with his red-hot bat back behind the plate after DHing last night. 6-game hitting streak, including 6 RBIs. Ty Wigginton, then Cesar Estores.
PNC scouting report for the big right-hander, Justin Masterson. Fastball, slider, changeup. They're trying to figure out where he's best suited, to help him in the bullpen or to be a starter. And his changeup could be the answer. He used it at the end of his last start, and he used it very effectively.
Ryan Roberts, first ball swinging towards left field. There's Matt Laporta, who reaches up and has it for the out. So on one pitch, Roberts down, 1 away.
Justin Masterson this season, 36 games. He was traded from Boston to Cleveland July 31st. That trade included, of course, Victor Martinez going to the Red Sox, and he has been a starter in the past. And he started for the Red Sox, but some people think that if he's going to be a starter, he's going to have to use his changeup more frequently. But you can see the size of him. He certainly has the physical makeup to withstand the rigors of starting.
Felix PA now, and he takes low, 1-0. PA is really swinging the bat well. His current hitting streak is 4 straight games. 1-0 pitch to him, is swung out on a high fly ball left center field. Sunglasses down for Grady Sizemore. Center fielder has it for the out, and Masterson has 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the first. Well, Adam Jones coming up, and it's good to have him back in the lineup, especially Buck defensively.
Second play of the game, Adam Jones robs an extra base hit from Cabrera and then makes a fine throw to the plate to nail a runner and save a run, and then robs Shin-Soo Choo of a home run. A couple of his former teammates in the Mariners system, he robbed them last night. Cabrera and Choo both coming up in Seattle system, just like Adam Jones.
2 down, bases empty, and there's ball 1 low. Adam took an 0 for 3 in his return to the lineup last night. He missed 5 games with the stiff back, the result of the back spasms he suffered during the game last Sunday in Chicago. And there's a strike. He's had a tough month of August, but maybe the rest will invigorate the swing and he'll find that stroke down the stretch. Orioles today playing their 131st game.
31 left after this game. Everybody would love to finish up on a high note, take some momentum into the off season.
Manager Dave Tremblay on the bench with Rich Kranitz. And the pitch taken low. But Kranitz has really had his work this year with all the young pitchers coming through. But the thing about Rick is that he knows that this group has talent, and if you have talent, you can work with it. The 3-1 to Jones is well off the plate, ball 4, and a 2-out walk. Orioles have a base runner in the first.
Let's take a look at the Cleveland defense. Matt Laporta made a terrific play going into the seats in left field in foul territory and making a great catch. Sizemore and Chu in the outfield. Cabrera and Valbuena, they have really been good defensively in this series. Jamie Carroll gets his second start at third base. Andy Marte has been terrific with the bat, not bad with the glove in this series. And Wyatt Torregas makes his second start in this series.
So that gets Nick Markakis up with a man on. The Orioles' leading RBI man. Jones draws a throw, and he's back in standing.
Just 11 ribbies shy of that 100 RBI plateau, something every hitter wants to attain.
Jones was gonna go, and he just did get back. I'll tell you what, that's a pretty quick move, and this umpiring crew has Bob Davidson at third. You better be careful.
Now you can see Adam had his momentum going towards second base. A little bit of a move towards second, but he didn't move his feet, and that allowed him to push back and dive into first.
Markakis awaiting a pitch from Masterson. And again, a throw to first. Bob Davidson, the umpire at third, his nickname among the players is Balking Bob Davidson, because he is, of all the umpires in baseball, the one most prone to call a balk. And he has the reverse view at third base, looking at the pitcher Justin Masterson. And Markakis takes a strike, 0-1. Nick has hit in 2 straight games. An amazingly consistent season for Markakis. There's the 0-1. It's a little bit outside. 1-1 the count.
Now Masterson, you can see, throws a lot of sinking fastballs. His fastball moves, and he'll throw a hard changeup, and that's the one pitch he's really trying to develop. That was the changeup, the last pitch to Markakis, but he hasn't been able to really develop a consistent release point with it.
Jones bluffs going, swing and a foul or miss. Nope, a miss. It popped out of the glove of Torregas and just behind his feet. So it's 1-2. Adam has only 4 steals on the year. He has not really attempted as many as the Orioles had expected this year. If we recall back to spring training, both he and Nick Markakis talked quite a bit about adding that aspect of it to their game, stealing more bases.
Masterson's pretty quick. He really has a short arm stroke throwing that ball to first base, and moves very quickly with his feet.
So Adam getting a good lead off first base, being held there by Andy Marte. No score, 2 down. Jones is running, pitch is taken inside, gets away from Torregas. Jones picks it up but stays at second base. So that'll be a stolen base for Adam Jones, his 5th. And now base hit can get the Orioles a first inning run.
Well, a lot of movement on Masterson's fastball, and this really handcuffs the catcher. A little peek from Adam Jones. You can see the ball gets away from the catcher, turns second. Watch the movement. Torregas, actually, ball hitting the dirt, never really had a chance. That ball was in the batter's box, tried to backhand it, couldn't come up with it.
2-2 on Markakis. Outside ball 3. Masterson has been a strikeout pitcher in his brief career. It's only his 2nd season. And as Buck mentioned, he spent the majority of the time so far in the big leagues working out of the Boston bullpen. This is his 73rd major league game, but it's only his 20th major league start.
Yeah, he made 6 starts with the Red Sox, and he took over for Daisuke Matsuzaka, and Daisuke went down with an injury early in the season. He was 2-2 in those 6 starts with the Red Sox.
3-2 on Markakis with 2 down. Jones at second. Masterson deals. Tapper back towards the mound. Masterson has it. Underhand toss to first, and that ends the inning. Birds get a walk and 1 left. We'll head to the second on a gorgeous day. No score. sports.com. Good luck, Joseph. Youngster has his glove. He's ready. He wants a foul ball. Come on, guys. Hit it to me. Rally hat in the second inning. Here's Sin-Soo Choo batting cleanup, and Mattis misses outside. 314 home runs and 70 RBIs, becoming one of the better complete players in the American League. Nice looking curveball there, 1-1.
Man, we've seen two good breaking balls from Mattis. He had a strikeout in the first inning when he struck out Cabrera with a slider, and that was a good curveball to get him even in this at bat.
Line to left, PA's right there, and he has it for the out, 1 down.
Rick Dempsey caught up with Brian Mattis and asked Mattis what his key was to his success.
I'm most successful when I could locate my two-seamer on the outside part of the plate. When I know that in the bullpen session before the game, when I'm really hitting that spot, I know it's going to be a good day. Because when I could really set up the outer part of the plate, I know I could come back in whenever I want, and I know I can mix it up with the changeup, slider, or curveball.
Oftentimes a pitcher is really strong to the glove side because that glove pulls him to that side of the plate and he can really deliver. The last piece of the puzzle will be dominance to the arm side of the plate, and that's the first base side. That's where Mattis said the two-seam fastball becomes very important for him. He's always had confidence he can go inside anytime he wants. Changeup just missed off, played outside.
All right, now why is it that he's stronger the opposite side from the arm he's throwing the ball with?
Because he has better balance when he leads with his glove.
This one's lined to left. PA in on it, has it for the out, 2 down.
Well, we'll get into that a little later. We'll look at his pitch grips right now, and he's got a wide assortment. This is a two-seam fastball, the one he was talking about, thrown to the outside corner. Four-seamer, he can bury that inside with a little more velocity. The curveball really emphasizes the finger on the long seam, and that gets the top spin, so it gets a bigger break. The slider's thrown more like a football with a spiraling action, a little bit harder than the curve, and that's the four-seam changeup grip that comes out of his hand looking like a four-seam fastball.
Brian talks about throwing both the slider and the curveball, and I guess most pitchers, Buck, decide which one works better and they eliminate the other. He feels it's effective to have both because of the different breaks.
Yeah, I never understood why one was not going to complement the other. I think great pitchers all have four, and I think Mattis has got the right approach. Throw the curveball. It's a different grip. You just have the ability to make it spin with a lot more depth. That time that slider slipped right out of his hand. But I don't buy the old, well, if I throw a curveball, I can't master a slider. I think that's just a shortcut and an excuse.
Well, Mattis is learning as Matt Laporta took that ball outside, 1-1 the count on the Indians left fielder, about utilizing the pitches in different sequences and trying not to show too much too early. When he first got here, and he's only been here 6 starts, he felt the need to show what he had, or he felt he needed to throw those pitches, and the hitters then saw everything he had. Now he's being more judicious with what he uses. 10-game hitting streak for Laporta. 1-2 pitches grounded weakly to first. Right there is Luke Scott. He'll go to the base unassisted, and another 3-up, 3-down inning. Mattis has retired 6 straight. Mid-second at Camden Yards, no score. Dylan'sFight.org. Get online and do whatever you can to help fight this disease, which is very rare. Only about 500 cases that have been diagnosed in the world. But there's the information, and Dylan'sFight.org has all the information that you need. And what a wonderful family. The mom, Daryl, and the dad, Mark, who was a baseball coach. And Buck and I had a chance to meet some of the family friends. Just a wonderful day at the ballpark. And hopefully anyone watching that can do anything can help. As Nolan Reimold leads off here in the second.
Yeah, quite a group of supporters came up from Frederick, and they had a little function at the warehouse, and then they're going to enjoy the ball game. And Dylan loves to play baseball, and I got a chance to meet his baseball hero, Brian Roberts, and he has an unusual fan favorite. He loves umpires.
Nolan Reimold pops it foul back of the plate. Torregas is there, and he has it for the out. So Reimold's retired, one down.
I wish I would have had a chance. Tim Sheed and his crew wasn't in the building when Dylan was down on the field, but he loves the umpires. He got a chance to take out the lineup card to the umpires down in spring training, and Bob Davidson would have made a big fan had he had a chance to meet young Dylan today.
Well, maybe we can get that done after the game. Maybe they can exchange lineup cards post game. And here's Luke Scott coming up, and here's a very unusual shift. They have moved the third baseman to the opposite side of the shortstop to keep Asdrubal Cabrera on the shortstop side of the bag.
Yeah, managers do that from time to time, thinking that the shortstop is in his most normal position right here. The third baseman, Johnny Peralta, goes from third base all the way over here to second base. If you're going to change your defense, you might as well keep as many people comfortable as you can. Actually, it's not Johnny Peralta, it's Jamie Carroll who's playing today. But we have seen managers do this in the past when they want to make a pronounced shift. Take the third baseman and put him on the second base side. And Jamie also has played a lot of second base himself.
1-1 to Luke Scott. Is hit right to the second baseman. There's Valbuena. And he gets it to first, and two down here in the Orioles' second inning. Well, don't forget, tomorrow the Yankees will be in town. It begins a 3-game series against the Birds, the final chapter in the classic East Division rivalry this season here at Oriole Park. Great seats still available for each game, but they're going fast. On Tuesday, don't miss Ollie's Bargain Night, presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. All upper reserve seats are just $8. 888-848-BIRD or online at Orioles.com. Two down in the Orioles' second. Here's Matt Wieters. And Matt takes a strike. 271 the batting average now, 5 home runs and 26 RBIs. A lot of movement there, and he swung over at 0-2. Masterson grew up in Beaver Creek, Ohio, but he was born in Kingston, Jamaica. And he has the distinction of being the first Jamaican-born pitcher in Major League Baseball history. Just inside, 1-2 on Wieters. He was born in Jamaica, grew up in Ohio, and went to college at San Diego State. This guy gets around. 1-2 on Wieters. Down and in, ball 2.
You can see that two-seam fastball has a lot of late movement, and oftentimes sinker ball pitchers will try to make it move, and when they do that, you just lose its effectiveness, and it'll run flat along the bat. But so far, he's got one that's going straight down.
2-2 to Wieters. He got him. Swung on and missed. And a 3-up, 3-down inning for Masterson, who picks up his first strikeout. Pitchers in command early on. No score.
to pay attention to the body language and demeanor of his young pitchers on the mound, and said that he could start to pull them earlier in the games, 5th or 6th innings at the max. He doesn't want them going into the 7th or 8th innings. And of course, that's an effort for the club to try to protect these young pitchers. But Jim and Buck, it's a tough decision to make because you want to teach them to go into the 7th or 8th innings. Jim?
All right, Amber, thanks very much. As we go to the 3rd, here's Andy Marte leading off.
Yeah, and the big concern you have, of course, you don't want any of your pitchers going into the offseason tender or worn out or hurt. And I think that's the concern the Orioles have with these young guys. First time they have pitched in September, so you want to be very cautious. But to me, the red flags you look for is changing their mechanics. Rick Kranitz is very aware of that. If somebody's dropping their arm, that could suggest fatigue, could suggest some painful areas, trying to pitch around, a little soreness. Those are the things you really watch for. You know, when you really think about it, obviously they're playing an extra month of their season, and you want to make sure that they don't go out there and labor when they're tired. But in the same regard, the one thing I think Rick Kranitz is trying to impress upon them, cut down the number of pitches you're throwing early. If you do that, you'll be able to pitch later into the game.
Off-speed pitch fouled off. That's back in the crowd. And with Mattis, that's a real good point, because over his first 5 starts, he had averaged 19 pitches per inning.
Yeah, just too many. I mean, the leaders, the guys that are really consistent pitch deep into the games, they'll throw into the 13s. I mean, that's how consistent they are. Roy Halladay consistently will throw just over 13 pitches an inning. Well, you do that, you're going to give up some hits, but you're also going to have a lot of ground ball double plays. You're going to have a lot of quick innings, and that allows you to pitch later into the game.
2-2 on Marte, who's had a huge series, winning 2 games with home runs. Fouls it back.
Everybody is concerned about young pitching. Rick Porcello was given about 14 days off right around the All-Star break. Jabba Chamberlain, his last start prior to today, was 8 days off, and they're always concerned. You see any red flags, any signs of fatigue or adjustments in their delivery, you're going to make sure they get proper rest, and the last thing you want to do is injure or jeopardize any of these young pitchers.
Well, Mattis had thrown 113 innings in the minor leagues this year, and he's now at 25 2/3 with the Orioles as Marte gets under it and skies it to left. PA's been a busy man. Here's his 4th putout early on, 1 away in the 3rd inning. Well, the Orioles and MASN have teamed up to make O's tickets even more affordable for the final month of the season. Fans can now purchase MASN Maximum Access tickets in the upper level of the ballpark for just $1 for any non-prime home game in September or October. MASN Maximum Access tickets are available on a first-come, first-served basis. They must be purchased online at Orioles.com at least 24 hours in advance. Now, seating in this section extremely limited, so don't miss out. Get online, Orioles.com, and get your $1 tickets. So 1 away in the 3rd. Here's Luis Valbuena, the second baseman. Another good-looking young player the Tribe has. No score, top of the 3rd. Mattis deals, and there's a strike in the outside corner, 0-2.
Well, that's an interesting viewpoint right there. Watching from behind Brian Mattis as Matt Wieters is really trying to accentuate the target. And he's made a conscious effort to give a low target most of the time. He wants the high fastball there. Valbuena laid off. But Matt has felt like sometimes his target will creep up just as the pitcher begins to deliver the pitch. And he wants to really focus on keeping that glove down.
Here's the 1-2. He got it. Got a fastball by him. Second strikeout and 2 away. So Valbuena retired.
Brian was telling me the other day he was laying in bed thinking about the way he has pitched in the big leagues and said, you know what, this isn't close to what I did in Double-A. I'm not aggressive enough. I need to use my fastball more. I need to make sure I get my arm on top. And it certainly appears as though he brought that mindset into this game this afternoon.
2 down. Here's Wyatt Torregas, the catcher, and he takes ball 1. You know, you're talking about the innings and the young pitchers, and the Orioles with Brad Bergeson on the DL still have 4 rookies in the rotation, so going through this for the first time. Torregas fouls it back, and I would guess for Andy McPhail it's a bit of an extra dilemma with Brian Mattis because this is his first season. They have no reference point of any innings that he has pitched before because he's never done it.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a challenge for them, but you have to really go by what Brian tells you and the feedback that you see while he's pitching. This has been a much crisper start to the game. There's a little more life on his fastball, a little more life in his body. I think the first few starts, it was just kind of like he was feeling for the strike zone. Today, it looks like he's got convictions with every pitch.
Beautiful day here at the ballpark. See the outfield straight away on Torregas, the number 9 batter. Mattis, just 22 years old, out of Cave Creek, Arizona. 1-2 pitch, curveballs high, 2-2. Torregas, another of the many players on this team that the Orioles are getting a first look at. They've made so many changes. 2-2 is right down the middle of the fastball, and a called strike 3. So Mattis has 3 consecutive 3-up, 3-down innings. Wigginton, Estouras, and Roberts are coming up for the Birds. No score. We wanted to go down and join in as we go to the bottom of the third, and Wigginton, first ball swinging to right, and it falls in for a base hit, and it gets by Chu. Wigginton's trying for second. The throw, he is safe at second base. Just did get in ahead of the throw of Sin-Soo Choo.
Chu got a bad break on that ball. Big swing. You see him looking up into the sun. He may have lost it right off the end of the bat. Oftentimes, an outfielder will freeze, and then the ball skips underneath his glove. Wigginton alertly takes advantage of that and slides just ahead of the throw at second. Boy, that is bang, bang. Good hustle by Wigginton. Leadoff double here. First hit of the ball game. That ball just got underneath the glove of Chu, who's a very good outfielder, but he didn't pick that ball up well off the bat.
And here is Cesar Estouras with Wigginton at second. Mark Jacobson has ruled single and error on Chu, allowing Wigginton to get that extra base. And here is Cesar Estouras. Orioles trying to get on the board. That is the first base hit in this game. And Estouras shows bunt again and takes a strike, 1-1.
Now, in last night's game, the Orioles were so effective in that 5th inning with the rain coming down. Moeller bunted Wigginton into scoring position. Wigginton tagged and moved over to third, and then the 2-out triple by Estouras gave them a lead in the 5th.
There's a chopper, and it's foul. Now, the Orioles have used the sacrifice bunt in each of the last 2 games. Estouras 2 nights ago and Moeller last night. It's the first time all season they've had a sacrifice bunt in back-to-back games. Manager Dave Tremblay possibly trying to get a run here by using the sacrifice, manufacture a run, if you will. Mattis pitching well early on. Ball and 2 strikes on Estouras. And he got it. Down on strikes goes Estouras, 1 away. So Cesar cannot advance Wigginton. He remains at second base with one down. Well, fans, on Tuesday, don't miss the final T-shirt Tuesday of 2009. First 10,000 fans 15 and over receive a Cesar Estouras Orioles T-shirt. Plus, it's also Ollie's Bargain Night presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. All upper reserve seats are just $8. 888-848-BIRD or online Orioles.com for your tickets. And Brian Roberts now. And Brian takes a strike.
One thing you have to be aware of today as a base runner is just how challenging fly balls are going to be. You have to anticipate anything goes up in the air. Both the center fielder and the left fielder are going to have real problems on those high pop-ups. And as a base runner, you have to anticipate the challenges of catching, and you might be able to take an extra base or two.
Brian Roberts, you see that green wristband that he has on top of his sweatband. He is wearing that today in honor of Dylan Papier, who gave that to Brian before the game. That is more for awareness for the Niemann-Pick type C disease. And he had two colors. He had a blue one and he had a green one. And Brian said, well, which one should I wear? And he thought about it and he picked that one, the green one. So 2-1 the count on Brian Roberts. And there's a chopper towards third. This is a tough play for Carroll. He throws on the run and he throws beyond the first baseman Marte. Here's Wigginton coming to the plate and he scores. So the Orioles get the lead. 2 errors in the inning on the Indians, and the Birds break on top.
That was going to be a tough play for Jamie Carroll. Masterson got a little swinging bunt up the third base line, and I don't think they were going to get Brian on this play. Carroll starting at third base, comes in, makes a fine play, but then throws it wide of the mark at first. Marte can't flag it down, and Wigginton steps on the bag ahead of the throw.
So that'll be a single for Brian Roberts, and the error on Carroll allows Wigginton to score, so no RBI. But the Orioles do get the lead 1-0 here in the third. Here's Felix Pie now, takes low, ball 1. So Wigginton went to second on the error by Chu, and he scores on the error by Carroll. One 1-0 on Wigginton, who flied out his first at bat. High fly ball left center field. He got a lot of it. Sizemore back, and that ball is gone. It's into the bullpen for a 2-run home run for Felix Pie. And the Orioles grab a 3-0 lead in the third.
Felix Pie has really come on strong. That pitch is away from him, 93 miles an hour, and he hammers it into the bullpen. Home run number 7 for Pie. And I got to tell you what, you got to give a tip of the cap to Terry Crowley. He has worked hard with this guy. He chased a lot of bad pitches, and now he's got him hitting strikes, and he's hitting them hard. I'll tell you, I got to admit, I didn't think this would ever turn around for him, but he has turned it around dramatically.
Adam Jones takes the strike, so PA dramatically extends his hitting streak to 5 in a row, and he has 3 home runs during the 5-game streak. What a turnaround. Adam walked, stole a base his first at bat, swings through that, and it's 0-2.
Terry Crowley had confidence that if he could ever get PA to buy into his approach of laying off bad pitches, making the pitcher throw strikes, that PA could hit. And to his credit, now he's seeing the results of his confidence.
Still only 1 down as Jones takes outside. Well, it has to be a humbling thing when you're a player who has a lot of pride. You're traded for in the offseason by an organization who certainly knew of you because Andy McPhail knew of him from the Cubs, and then you come here and you don't do well. And I would guess somewhere along the way you have to give in to the fact that maybe there's another approach, and maybe the other approach is a better approach. So PA taking the lessons well. And it's outside, ball 3.
And again, the problems for Masterson, left-handed hitters. Brian Roberts, Felix Pierre, doing the damage here in this inning.
Three and two the count as Jones fouls it back. For PA, by the way, it's his 7th home run. Adam Jones has been sitting on 19 since August the 5th. He has 7 home runs since the All-Star break. He was hitting them fairly regularly, but not as of late. And how about that? He fell behind 0-2 and he works a walk. So Adam twice today has drawn a walk. The 2 allowed by Masterson. And another base runner here in the first. And here's Carl Willis, the pitching coach, out for a chat.
Yeah, you wouldn't think Masterson would be unnerved by the errors behind him. 2 errors in this inning have contributed to the 3-run inning. But at the same time, Willis out here trying to get to know his pitcher a little bit more. He didn't join the team until that July 31st trade from Boston.
He has made a start against the Orioles on the year, and he was the guy on the mound when the Orioles played in Boston on Patriots Day. The Orioles probably don't want to remember that game. That was the 11:05 a.m. start, and the Red Sox won it 12-1. So Patriots Day, which of course is a holiday in Massachusetts. That's the day they run the Boston Marathon. In tradition, the Red Sox play the morning game. Well, it was Masterson on the mound that day against Mark Hendrickson, and the Red Sox did beat the Orioles that day 12-1. So he has seen them on the year. Of course, being in the division, the Orioles and Red Sox play quite a bit. As Markakis takes a strike. 0-1 on Markakis. And throw behind Jones, and he gets back. One of the things about Masterson, he's now allowed 13 steals on the year with the Jones stolen base. They've caught only 4 with him on the mound. So I guess the Orioles look at those reports and feel, look, if you can get a good jump, let's go.
He's shown a pretty good move in working against Adam Jones here early on.
Jones runs again. Pitch is swung on and popped up. Center of the diamond. Jones picks it up. The shortstop Cabrera calling has it for the out. And Jones hustles back to first. So Markakis retired. He's 0 for 2 and 2 down in the 3rd inning. Nolan Reimel will bat now. Orioles have 3 runs in, 1 on an error, 2 on the home run by PA. And here's Reimel. Nolan has hits in 14 of his last 16 games, and again Masterson chases Jones back to first. Masterson now but slowing down his pace to try to upset the timing, it looks like, of Jones at first, and he misses high 1-0.
Yeah, he'll vary it from time to time. He's a lot quicker to first base than his numbers might suggest. But I think he gets into a little bit of a rut when he uses that high leg kick, and that's when base runners can really have their way with Masterson.
Big lead for Adam Jones off first base. And a foul back of the plate. There's Nolan Reimel has been really hitting the extra base hits, and as a result, that slugging percentage, buck .456, highest slugging percentage by rookies in Orioles history.
Since 1974, you look at the cast of characters: Ripken, Murray, Reimel, Markakis, and Larry Sheets, all pretty prominent rookies, and Reimel right in the middle of that list.
Outside 2-1. Adam back to first base. What is very impressive with Reimel is his approach at the plate and his patience. For a young hitter, he looks over the pitches, very good batting eye. 2-1 the count. Inside ball 3. And there's an indication of the patience. He has drawn a walk in 6 consecutive games, and he has a 3-1 count. Jones runs, and it's inside ball 4. So he's drawn a walk in 7 straight games. That is the second walk in the inning and third in the game for Masterson.
Yeah, it's kind of come apart for him after a pretty good first 2 innings. Masterson gave up the single. Shoup committed an error, and then after striking out his tourist, Brian Roberts, the infield, hitting a 2-run home run. Things have kind of fallen apart here for him in the 3rd inning.
Masterson last year as a rookie set a Red Sox playoff record. He made 9 appearances in the postseason for Boston. So the Indians getting a young pitcher, still only 24 years old, with a power arm, as Luke Scott comes up and fouls it off. They're also getting a pitcher who comes from a winning organization and participated in the postseason with the Sox.
Terry Francona always felt Masterson could pitch to either lefties or righties as long as he was well rested. When he was a little fatigued and tired, he was confident with him against right-handers, but not so against left-handers. The boy had a hot hand in the postseason, and Francona used him a lot.
9 games he got into last year in the playoffs as Luke Scott has a base hit to center field. Jones will score easily. Heading to third is Reimold. Scott going to second base, and he has an RBI double. So the Orioles taking it to Masterson here in the 3rd and have a 4-0 lead.
Well, those base on balls and an error, that's not a very good formula for the Indians, and Luke Scott makes it pay. Right over the heart of the plate. That's middle with the fastball, and he drills it into center field. Adam Jones comes in and scores easily. Nolan Reimold goes first to third, and it's a big inning.
Pitch Tracks presented by Northrop Grumman, the information systems powerhouse. So Luke Scott, who's been on quite a tear, he's now got 7 hits over the last 7 games with 3 RBIs, and here's Nolan Reimold, a chance for 2 more. Orioles have batted around now in the 3rd inning. Wieters struck out his first at bat. Fouled straight back of the plate. Jensen Lewis now getting loose in the Cleveland bullpen. He just did get up. Last thing a manager wants to do is get the bullpen up in the 3rd inning, but Masterson already has thrown 56 pitches. Wieters a little late on that swing, and it's 1-2.
When Masterson gets that ball down, he's tough, whether it's a slider or a sinking fastball. But he's left a few pitches up in the zone this inning. PA with the home run, and Luke Scott with the RBI base hit.
1-2 on Wieters. Too tight, 2-2. Masterson in his career is 10-10, 7-7 as a starter, 3-3 as a reliever. The 2-2 to Wieters, breaking ball called, strike 3. Backdoored him, a perfect pitch, and that ends the inning. But the Orioles bat around and score 4. 2 coming in on the home run ball, number 7 for Felix PA. 4-0 Birds.
Cesar might use me once through the order, but after that, he's always in the right position, and that's why we see him make so many great defensive plays in the infield, Jim.
All right, Amber, thanks very much. So there's Luke. You see he's signaling to Juan Samuel there. Should I move up? Nope. Okay, I'll stay here. Curveball misses outside. 1-1 on Sizemore.
Well, it's really difficult to learn a position in the middle of a major league season. You'd like to have the opportunity to play an awful lot in the spring, and now with Aubrey Huff gone, who's getting some more at bats and some opportunities over at first base.
Inside 2-1. Brady Sizemore, but one of the productive hitters in the American League and still very young.
Yeah, and 18 home runs. The thing about Grady is he's had a down year. He's been hurt much of the year, elbow concerns.
Bounce to second base. Roberts plays the hop. One down in the Cleveland fourth inning.
Now, Brian Mattis has been terrific. Quite a departure from his last start when he was fighting his delivery, couldn't find the strike zone. Really frustrated outing for him, and now he is confident, throwing with a lot of conviction. And you can tell in a body how a guy is coming at you. The pitch count per inning is really good, well maintained. And the thing about Brian is when he decides to throw a pitch, I mean, everything is coming right toward the hitter.
Jamie Carroll up, takes ball one.
Here's the delivery, striding. You can see how much effort he's putting into it. Everything is committed directly toward that target. That's one thing Rick Cranitz had his eye on, was Mattis had a tendency to kind of land with that front foot a little bit open, and he was flying open with his shoulders. Today his shoulders are much more in line with the strike zone.
2-0, taking first strike, 2-1. Mattis has struck out 3 through the first 3 1/3. The deepest he's been able to pitch into a game is 5 2/3. Working here in the fourth, misses high, 3-1. That was in a loss to the Angels here at Camden Yards on August 15th. So far today, very pitch efficient. 3-1 on Carroll. And there's a strike, 3-2.
And that's his bread and butter. We heard him in his conversation with Rick Dempsey talk about the down and away two-seamer. Feels like he can throw that when he's right with his eyes closed.
The 3-2 pitch is swung out and missed. Actually, foul tip held by Matt Wieters. So there's a strikeout. He came back from 3-1 to get him, and 2 away in the fourth inning.
Again, he goes back to where he's most confident. 3-2 fastball down and away, and he locates it very well and strikes out Jamie Carroll. Fourth strikeout of the afternoon, and you can see the extension all the way through the pitch. Late movement, great location, and will strike out.
2 down in the Cleveland fourth inning. Here is Asdrubal Cabrera. Breaking ball stays inside, 1-0. Cabrera was called out on strikes his first at bat. One of the 4 strikeouts in the game for Mattis. There's a strike in the outside corner.
Again, let's really focus on that glove of Matt Wieters as he's really trying to get Brian Mattis to focus on it and emphasize the location down, bottom of the strike zone. And Matt, by his own admission, felt like that glove was elevating as the pitch was being delivered, and pitchers followed that glove. I mean, that's their bullseye.
2-1 is high, ball 3. So back-to-back 3-ball counts.
Now Bob Davis had just called a ball 4 on him. Now that is just a little bit too much. Said he went to his mouth after he got the ball back, and he called ball 4. So that's the first base runner of the game because the umpire called ball 4. And now Wigginton is going to come in and make sure that he gets Brian refocused again. And Dave Tremblay, kind of incredulous, he stands in the dugout, and you got to be kidding me.
I told you he'd call a balk.
First ball base runner for the Indians comes on Bob Davis and called him ball 4. And I appreciate the rules and everything else, but now Brian's standing there asking, what did I do? Went to his mouth.
He has a way of making himself get noticed. So there's the first base runner allowed by Mattis. Comes with 2 down here in the 4th. So Mattis to the stretch for the first time against Sin-Soo Choo. Third for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Good pitch right there to get back into the game again and kind of forget about that ball 4. To a first pitch curveball to get ahead of Choo.
Comes inside with it, misses. 1-1. Choo flied out to left field his first at bat. There's only been 2 ground balls so far in the game, 1 to Roberts and 1 to Scott.
Brian Mattis got the ball back after the 3 ball. Now watch as the ball comes back to him right there. He goes to his mouth on the dirt, and that is by rule a ball. But oftentimes umpires will say, hey, don't do that again. It just went to your mouth. It was inadvertent and very quick. But Bob Davison called ball 4 on it. Many times I've had umpires say, hey, tell the kid not to go to his mouth anymore.
So 1-2 the count on Sin-Soo Choo. With Cabrera at first, who runs, and it's high. 2-2, big jump, and he steals the base.
Now, here's the pitch that ball 4 was called on, and Brian, yeah, he went right to his tongue, but it was inadvertent and obviously something he did very quickly, but Bob Davison called him for it.
The 2-2 pitch is a called strike 3, so Mattis battles back and gets out of it. So the 2-out walk and 1 left. Mattis has 5 strikeouts, and the Orioles have a 4-0 lead. From beyond the bullpens. Orioles batted around in the 3rd. Here's Wigginton to lead off in the 4th. He got it going with a base hit. Went to second on the error by Sin-Soo Choo. Outside, 1-1.
We mentioned Ty made some adjustments in his batting stance earlier, in that he pushed his hands a little ways away from his body to begin with. And he said the benefits of that was there was just too much movement. He's always had the rotation of movement in his hands as he gets set to swing. But because he had his hands too close to his body, there would be a push out the rotation, and that would take too long, and he'd be late.
Misses close, but Wigginton got the call. 3-1.
When hitters go through a stretch where they're late on balls they think that they should hit, then send them back to the video room.
And there's a strike.
He said he went in the video room and looked at some tapes from a year or so ago where he was really hitting the ball well and noticed the difference. And oftentimes you can't see the forest for the trees. Trying to look at your foot or where your hands are or something, and it's just a subtle little movement.
Bounces foul. Nice play by Juan Samuel. See, the infielders never lose the hands. 3-2 on Wigginton, leading off in the Oriole fourth. Birds have a 4-0 lead. Bouncer off Masterson towards the middle. Cabrera scoops it up. He throws, not in time. That'll be an infield base hit for Wigginton, and fortunately for Masterson, it didn't get too much of his body.
Masterson's really kind of in an awkward position. He gets a piece of it with his glove. Asdrubal Cabrera, acrobatic, but not in time to get Wigginton. 2 hits for Ty today.
Well, Wigginton now has a 5-game hitting streak going, and Masterson again back to the stretch. Here's Cesar Izturis. Carroll creeps in at third. Wigginton runs, swinging a ground ball towards the hole. Will it get through? Nicely played by Valbuena, and got him at first base in a bang-bang play. So the runner does advance as Izturis nearly beat it out. What a play by Valbuena to get him at first, 1 down.
Yeah, playing hit and run. First pitch after Wigginton had the infield hit. Valbuena with good range, off-balance throw right to Marte just in time. Wigginton starts. Watch the action on the right side. Marte goes after it, recognizes he can't get it, retreats to the bag, and Valbuena delivers.
Bang bang play. Kevin Causey calls him out. So Valbuena gets the out. Down to second, Wigginton, and the lineup turns over. Here's Brian Roberts, who singled and scored in the rally in the 3rd inning. Line drive to left field. That's a base hit. Juan Samuel's being sent. Here comes Wigginton. Here comes Laporta's throw. He is out at the plate. Wigginton tried to jar the ball loose. Had he come in feet first, he might have had it. But he thought he was going to be tagged, so he went for the knockdown, and he is out at the plate, 2 down.
Well, Juan Samuel can be aggressive in that situation with a 4-run lead, force a young outfielder to make a good throw, and Laporta did. Right here, Wigginton's chugging around third base. You can see Laporta's got the ball right when he's at the bag. Wigginton turns, sees there's going to be a play, and goes for the catcher, trying to knock the ball out of his glove. Torregas gives with the blow, has the ball in his glove. If Wigginton slides to the outside of the base, he might have been safe. But he saw where the throw was coming and just went after the catcher, but couldn't jar it loose from Torregas.
He looked like a fullback going through there, trying to open up the hole for the running back. So 2 down at the plate. Here's PA. Takes inside, ball 2.
Now this is full speed. Peek over his shoulder, knows there's going to be a play, and tries to jar the ball loose.
You saw he realized he missed the plate. He was going back to touch it just in case, but Torregas held on to the ball.
Good throw by Laporta. He's been impressive here playing left field.
Well, 2-0 on PA with Roberts at first. Ryan dancing, doesn't go, and outside, ball 3. PA homered his last at bat. He's 1 out of 2. Felix over the last 11 games, but look at these numbers.
14 for 35, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs, and he's done a nice job. And he's not really pulled the home runs. He hit the home runs the opposite field.
And it's outside, ball 4. There's a 4-pitch walk, and that is the 4th walk issued by Masterson. Let's get a look at our Ford trivia question for today. How many current managers did not play in the major leagues? Well, 10 is probably too high. I'm going to say 4. What do you say?
I'm counting. 6.
Are you allowed to? And the answer is 6. How about that?
Yeah.
Tremblay, Madden, Hillman, Leland, Riggleman, and Gonzalez. That's right. Jim Leland was a minor league catcher and then became a coach and then a manager. Stumped again as Jones swings through it. You're on a roll on these trivia questions.
Yeah, I'm one in a row. Had a hot Sunday.
It's better than 0 for 1. Adam has been up twice. He has walked twice. Has a stolen base and a run scored. Orioles have 2 on with 2 down. Vicious swing and 0-2.
But the good thing about that is you're seeing no after effects from his back problem. And it's been a week now since he tweaked his back against the White Sox in Chicago. He took a wild hack at that. He's had 2 walks today, been on base, scored a run. And that big swing suggests that that back's 100%.
0-2 on Jones. Bouncer towards third. That is a fair ball. Carroll, a long throw across, and he got him. So that ends the inning. The Orioles get 2 hits and a walk, but cannot score. Wigginton plowing into Torregas, and the out at the plate.
Fastball, curveball, changeup, everything's worked for him today, and he's located the ball very well. Got the Sim-Choo to him the 4th inning. Only 1 base runner has reached.
AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. The only base runner on the 2-out walk to Asdrubal Cabrera. Ball 4, which was called on a balk by third base umpire Bob Davidson for Mattis going to his mouth on the mound. Johnny Peralta now DHing, line drive, base hit left field. There's the first base hit allowed by Brian Mattis. Comes here leading off in the 5th inning.
Johnny Peralta had a home run in the last night's game. Hit a leadoff home run off Chris Tillman in the 4th inning.
So Matt Laporta will bat now. Laporta playing in left field. He grounded out to first base in the 2nd inning. Another foul the other way on 1.
Good first pitch changeup right there. You feel guys hard charging, sitting on first pitch fastball, and Mattis and Matt Wheeler's got the hits to get it pretty effectively there.
Now the significance of that base hit by Peralta, the first of the game, but the fact that it comes here in the 5th inning. Swing and a miss on 2. In his first 5 big league starts, Mattis had averaged but 14 base hits per 9 innings. And the first hit today does not come until the 5th.
Yeah, he's been hit hard. There's no question about it. But whatever it is that turned him around, and he feels like he's found some mechanical adjustment. He's pitching with an awful lot of confidence today.
0-2 on Laporta. And a number out in front of the mound. Mattis will have to hurry. He gets there and fires and gets him at first base. So Peralta goes to second. Laporta is retired and one away. Well, the fifth and final date has been added. You can enjoy Oriole Park's newest location. Of course, it's 2110 Utah Street, presented by First Fidelity Mortgage. Team up with all the fans of Nick Markakis and Adam Jones on Saturday, October 3rd. For $21, you get the reserved Utah Street bleacher seat and the exclusive I Live at 2110 Utah Street t-shirt. The next date, this Saturday, will be sold out, so don't wait. 888-848-BIRD or online at Orioles.com. And, of course, today is a 2110 Utah Street day, so the fans enjoying the sunshine. Swinging a foul back off the bat of Andy Marte.
That's a pretty nice neighborhood out there, 2110. Nice day today to be in the neighborhood. 2110 Utah Street. Nick Markakis, Adam Jones. Going to be there for a while, I think.
I believe you're right.
A long-term lease, I think, will work.
You know, the other day when we were in Minnesota and we chatted with Nolan Reimold, he pointed out to me that he is the oldest of the three outfielders. Reimold is slightly older than Markakis, and Jones is the youngest of the three. So even though Nick is in his fourth full year, as Marte goes down on strikes, Reimold, who's a rookie, is actually the oldest of the three.
Yeah, and it really bodes well for the future of this outfield when you think Nolan Reimold is the youngest and he is in his rookie year and enjoying a lot of success. Nick and Adam both have their feet on the ground. 25. Yep, from Greenville, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, not far from Pittsburgh, and actually grew up listening to this Cleveland Indian ball club. He got a chance to visit with Tom Hamilton, the radio voice of the Indians, and Hamilton said, well, who's your favorite team? He said, I listen to you all the time. I said, really? In Western PA? He goes, yeah. I said, why? He said, Tommy Ramirez.
There you go. Weak swing by Luis Valbuena. Yeah, Mattis ahead 0-2.
Well, one thing that Brian Mattis was really upset by, not so much that he's getting hit around, but he said, I'm not pitching the way I pitched in the minors. And he said, for some reason, I've gotten a little defensive. And boy, it looks like he's recaptured the aggressiveness here today.
The 0-2 is a called strike three. Breaking ball on the inside corner. Valbuena doesn't like the call. He's down on strikes. 7 strikeouts for Brian Mattis. Mid-fifth, 4-0 O's.
on top of the ball, and that's created a much better break on his curveball, a much sharper break on his slider, and the two-seam fastball has been late and quick on the outside corner.
And the Orioles in this game opportunistic. 2 errors in the inning, and the Orioles managed to take advantage of those and score 4 runs. And when you get those opportunities and the extra bases, you really need to cash in.
Well, it's important now with 31 games left after today that this club starts to win and starts to push, because they're going to face a much tougher schedule starting tomorrow when the Yankees come to town. Friday, the Texas Rangers come to town. You're talking about postseason contenders, and you've really got to ratchet up your game and take advantage of this little bit of an improvement we've seen in the starting rotation lately.
And this will really be a good gauge for the organization, because even though you don't want to go in overmatched, the Orioles don't believe they are, but it is a good learning experience for the younger players to see the reference point when you play against those contending teams.
Yeah, I think right now the core of this team is starting to gain some pride in wearing that Oriole name across their chest, and they have to represent the organization well when they play those pennant contending ball clubs.
Late call there by Angel Campos, the umpire. Markakis thought he had ball 4, but instead it's strike 2.
Yeah, it's very rare that Nick will do anything like this to show up an umpire. You can see he had a pretty good look at it. It looked like the ball ran off the plate, but Campos called it a strike.
So 3-2 on Markakis, and Markakis is down on strikes as he swings through it. So the Orioles, after Cleveland leaves today, the Yankees here for 3 tomorrow. Then it's a much-needed day off on Thursday, and then the Rangers come into town, and then after that, it's to Boston and to New York. So it's a steady diet of contending teams coming up.
Yeah, that's life in the American League East, and you just have to learn how to deal with it. And I think these young players are looking forward to the challenge. You know, it is a good test for yourself when you go up against the Yankees, when you understand they're red hot, and you're going to see CC Sabathia and A.J. Burnett. 31 games left, 22 against teams above 500. Texas, the Rangers, the Red Sox, and Tampa Bay. Just 9 games below 500. They'll have another trip to Toronto, 1 trip to Cleveland. So, you know, it's going to be tough baseball, but I think these young guys are looking forward to the challenge. Everybody wants to say, you know what, we're not going to be the doormat any longer in this division. Now we have a little better weapons on the mound, and we're going to continue to hit and score runs.
And I think one aspect of the younger players on this team that definitely works in their favor is that as a group, they weren't all together at every level, but many of them won 2 years ago at Frederick. Many of them won last year at Bowie. They understand what it means to play in postseason play. Now, I realize it's minor league postseason play, but you have to succeed to get there. They understand that. They want to carry that over to the big league level.
Yeah, and they certainly have a long way to go yet, obviously, but the core, the young pitchers, they are really tight. They work out together. They talk a lot about their successes and failures together, and I think they want to turn the fortunes of this organization around.
As Nolan Reimold goes down on strikes, so Masterson has back-to-back strikeouts to begin the 5th inning.
Well, Masterson's been up and down. He certainly had his trouble when he let those 2 errors get to him and into control. That was an inside breaking ball that Nolan Reimold swung right through. Masterson just trying to iron out whether or not he's going to be an effective starter for them or be more valuable to them working out of the bullpen.
So 2 down. That brings up Luke Scott. Luke drove in a run with a double his last at bat. And there's a chopper past the mound into the shift. That is Carroll, the third baseman, and he gets it to first. And Masterson has a 3-up, 3-down inning. We played 5 at Camden Yards, 4-0 O's.
Then Felix PA caps it all off. A 2-run shot into the bullpen is 7th. And Brian Mattis has taken it from there. 1 hit, 7 strikeouts, no runs through 5 innings. He has been in total command of this Indians lineup. There's the line score. 4-6-0 for the Orioles, 0-1-2 for the Indians, and Brian Mattis is in the driver's seat.
So we go to the 6th inning, and Torregas takes a strike. Torregas, Sizemore, and Carroll. 9-1-2 in the 6th inning. Well, what an outing for Brian Mattis. Every pitch that he throws has purpose and outstanding command.
And you can see it in his body. He knows where it's going. Today, it's not like the other starts where he was kind of searching, just flipping it up there, wondering where it was going. Today, he has a real good idea where it's going and misses with that pitch right on target. But Mattis, this is more like what he did in the minor leagues, especially once he got to Double-A Bowie. He said he could think of a pitch and execute it, and he's done that all afternoon here.
1-2 on Torregas. Who's the Indians catcher, struck out his first at bat. Takes low, 2-2. Seven strikeouts, 1 walk, and 1 hit on the ledger for Brian Mattis, who's trying to win his 3rd game of the year. The 2-2, weakly hit towards third. Tough play for Wigginton. Gets in, he fires, he got him by a stride. So Wigginton gets the man and 1 down. Attention youth sports teams, coaches and players, call the Orioles today and get your team signed up for Youth Sports Day. Comes your way Sunday, September 20th against the Red Sox. Your football, lacrosse, basketball, baseball, field hockey, any sports team can take part in a pregame parade around Oriole Park Field and enjoy great group pricing on tickets. 888-848-BIRD or online Orioles.com. So 1 down. That is only the 4th ground ball out in this game. And there's a breaking ball for a strike to Sizemore, 0-1. So many of these Indians hitters, Buck, seem frozen on that first pitch breaking ball.
Well, and some pitch you're not going to swing at. Everybody goes up there looking for a first pitch fastball, and when he throws that curveball, you just kind of take it. And then he throws one a little quicker, a little further outside. Now he can pitch. I mean, that has been his background since he first went to college. And he's always been characterized as a guy that really understands how to pitch. We haven't seen that yet here until today. Now you see where he really has a feel for how to utilize his pitches in combination.
0-2. Comes right at him but high, and Sizemore doesn't chase.
And the problem he had prior to today's start was everything was so inconsistent. He just kind of had to search for a formula and put pitches together because he didn't really know where they were going.
1-2 on the Indians leadoff man. High fly ball to center field. He got into that one. Jones back on it. Way out there. It's off the wall and in play. Just missed it with his glove. Sizemore can fly, and he's heading to third. Jones went back, was nearing the wall, looked at the wall, looked at the ball, and then just couldn't get the glove down. So that's a triple.
Well, remember, it's very difficult for outfielders to see the ball. You can see he glances at the wall. The ball kind of sails at him. I don't know if he got a glove on it or not, and then bangs hard into the wall. You can see that ball actually did hit off his finger of his glove, and I just don't think he saw it. I think that at the end he didn't really track the ball right into his glove. Had a hard collision with that wall.
Orioles will play the infield back with a 4-0 lead, except for Wigginton at third. And here's Carroll. Takes outside, 1-0. Carroll playing at third base today. He's 0 for 2. That is only the second base hit for the Indians. The triple by Sizemore. Ball 2 inside. Jamie Carroll, one of the veterans on this team, and he's a utility man. Fouls it back, 2-1.
Now, and here's another look at Adam Jones in center field as he was trying to track this Grady Sizemore ball, and that ball went off his glove. And then he hits hard into that wall. Didn't have a chance to really brace himself, and you can see he really hit that wall hard. It's got padding, but right behind that padding is a concrete wall.
So last night in his first game back from the back issues, he bangs into the wall in the first inning, and then today, day game after night game, he bangs into the wall again. (3-1) to Carroll's foul back. See, he keeps grabbing up near his neck area. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, he took quite a jolt. You run there and you don't have time to brace yourself, and you just kind of run into the wall without having an opportunity to really kind of protect yourself.
Full count on Jamie Carroll, batting with 1 out and 1 on in the 6th inning. Ground ball towards the middle, and that gets on through for a base hit. Sizemore will score, and the Indians on the board. It's a 4-1 game.
Well, Carroll had that pinch hit RBI in last night's game and does the same thing here. He just drives it up the middle. His first hit in 3 trips, and the Indians are on the board. And now it's important for Mattis to just kind of gather himself, and he's going to get some help doing that with Rick Crenna's coming out. So the pitching coach pops out and said, okay, well, shutout's gone, no hitter's gone. Now you've got to focus on winning the game. You're in the 6th inning with 1 out. Make a good pitch with your 2-seamer, get a double play, and let's get out of this inning.
Well, in his previous 5 starts, we mentioned the deepest he has gone is 5 2/3. That was in a loss August 15th against the Angels. He's also had a 5 1/3 and 2 5-inning outings. So today he's gone 5 1/3, trying to get through this inning with a 4-1 lead. Seven strikeouts, just 1 walk, and a run on 3 base hits. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. Hits ball 1 inside. Cabrera has struck out and he walked ball 4, which was called as a balk for Mattis going to his mouth on the mound. Sky to right. Right there is Markakis, has it for the out and 2 down.
Now it's a good bounce back out right there after Carroll got the RBI base hit, come up with the 2nd out. Not out of the woods yet. Sin-Shu Chu, who has handled effectively 0 for 2, including a strikeout in his last at bat.
Sin-Shu Chu was acquired from Seattle in a trade, and he's become an important player on this team. He's just 27 years old. He's been in pro ball since 2001. Took him a long time to make it to the big leagues. Line towards left center field. Adam Jones on the run, won't get it. Able to cut it off. He'll fire back in towards second base. Chu with a big wide turn will get back to first. So a single since Carroll III. The Indians have 2 on with 2 down in the 6th inning, and now can bring the tying run to the plate.
Boy, Chu can really hit. He was 0 for 2 prior to this base hit. Adam does a great job of cutting the ball off. Look at Chu anticipating double. And that's the way you run the bases right there. Make the throw stop you. Don't assume it's going to be a single. He was thinking 2. Jones came up firing, and Chu was halfway to second. Had plenty of time to get back.
You see the runners at 1st and 3rd. 2 down for Peralta. And there's a strike fastball right in there. One out of 4 with runners in scoring position. The Indians 4 hits in the game, and 3 have come this inning. Orioles 3 for 7 so far. Breaking ball is high. 1-1. Clay Meredith now getting loose in the Oriole pen.
Now here's where Brian Mattis has to remember what has worked for him all day long. The same effort, the same tempo. Don't try to do anything different than you've done all day long.
Off-speed pitch looked like, swung through it.
Make sure that you don't yield to the pressure of a 1st and 3rd situation with a power hitter, and just stay within your delivery and continue to execute the pitches. They've worked for you all afternoon. They should still work for you here in the 6th.
1-2 on Johnny Peralta. Runners on the corners and 2 men down. And a break called. Strike 3. As Peralta goes down, the 8 strikeouts get Mattis out of it. Middle of the 6th. Mattis and the Birds with a 4-1 lead.
The Blue Jays in the 6th inning. He's going up against Halliday, and Bird has given up just 3 hits. Also, the Giants are within 1 game now of the Rockies for the NL wild card. And Jake Peavy last night leaves AAA start against Norfolk after 3 1/3 innings with tightness in his arm. Jim?
All right, Amber, thanks very much. Here's Wieters leading off in the 6th. Buck and I just had a nice visit with Dylan Papierre. It's his 7th birthday here today, and a big day for the Papierre family. Nice to have Dylan with us in the booth as Matt Wieters looks over a breaking ball for a strike. Wieters, Wigginton, Estouras, lower third of the Orioles lineup. Indians now back in at 4-1. And there's a bloop towards right center field. Falling. Sizemore makes a diving try, and he can't make the grab. There's a base hit for Wieters. And Wieters is on with a leadoff single. He's now hitting 7 straight games and a couple of blue hits back-to-back days.
He flares it right in front of Grady Sizemore, whose dive was a little bit short of the mark. Couldn't come up with it after a couple of strikeouts. He's on the board with a hit.
And Ty Wigginton now with Wieters on at first, and a lot of room on that right side as Valbuena shading up the middle. Breaking ball freezes Wigginton, but it's outside. 1-0.
Now Masterson's using a big sweeping breaking ball now. It proved effective in his last inning when he struck out Nolan Reimel with it. Had 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 5th inning.
Inside with a breaking ball.
He's righted himself a little bit here as he slows the Orioles offense down. Only that 4 runs in the 3rd inning has really been his problem, but other than that, he's pitched pretty effectively.
Ball 3. So the Indians traded Victor Martinez to the Red Sox, and Masterson, one of the key players they got back, still only 24 years old. His 2nd big league season. There's the strike. They also got back some young pitching in the trade that sent Cliff Lee to the Phillies.
Rafael Perez, one of the 2 left-handers down in that Indians bullpen, begins to throw.
He's already won 2 games in this series out of the bullpen. 3-1 on Wigginton. Big cut, and he missed it. 3-2. Orioles scored all 4 runs in the 3rd inning, the first on a throwing error. Then a 2-run home run by PA and an RBI double by Scott. In the fourth inning, they had a chance, but left 2 on and 1 thrown out at the plate. Swing and a miss. That ball gets away from the catcher, Torregas, and down to second goes Wieters. So the Orioles get a break. Wieters in scoring position. The Orioles and the Orioles' wives have teamed up with the Maryland SPCA to create a very special souvenir for O's fans. You can pick up your copy of the 2010 Orioles Pet Calendar. Inside, you'll enjoy 16 months of your favorite Orioles players, their pets, and some lovable dogs and cats from the SPCA. Proceeds will benefit the Maryland SPCA and their work with local homeless pets. To get your Orioles Pet Calendar, get online at Orioles.com. For all the animal lovers, that'll be a nice addition to your collection. So Wieters is at second for his Tourist with 1 down. There's a ground ball towards the middle. There's a base hit for Cesar Torres. Wieters will be held at third as Sizemore gets to it. And the Orioles have runners on the corners with 1 down. Juan Samuel holding Wieters, who is not one of the fastest runners on the team. So with 1 down, he plays it safe.
Yeah, right here, if the score would have been a little different, he might have taken a chance. Asturias hits it up the middle, and he's looking over at third base and sees Wieters stop. And Samuel stopped Wieters. Matt had thoughts of trying to score, but Grady Sizemore got to the ball very quickly.
Bart Willis out for another chat with Masterson as the Orioles try to get that run back. Masterson in this game has had only 2 3-up 3-down innings. He got through the second and the fifth in order. He spent quite a bit of time in this game pitching from the stretch.
I think this is another little bit of a survey for Carl Willis just to see how Masterson's holding up and what he's thinking about here. Obviously, a ground ball gets him out of the situation, but you're working to a guy that doesn't hit into many ground ball double plays in Brian Roberts.
Willis is in his 7th season as the Indians pitching coach, but as Buck mentions, he's still learning Masterson, who was acquired from the Red Sox.
Well, the third inning was the big problem for Masterson. 33 pitches in that third inning when the Orioles scored 4 runs.
So here's Brian Roberts now, who has 2 hits on the day. And takes low, ball 1. Brian has an infield hit, a single to left field. He singled to left on the play. Wigginton was gunned down at the plate by Laporta. High fly ball, right center field. Tagging is Wieters. Sizemore getting under it. He makes the catch, nearly collides with Chu, and the throw goes to second base. So Wieters scores, sac fly and RBI for Roberts. Birds get the run back and lead it 5-1.
Well, you see the 2 outfitters get their signals crossed. It's a very tough day for outfitters battling the sun. Communication not great. Sizemore steps out of the way. But he didn't have a shot at all at throwing out Matt Wieters, tagging and scoring from third base.
And that'll be it for Justin Masterson, as here's Eric Wedge out, second visit in the inning. That is the second out of the inning, but the Orioles still have Isturiz on at first. So Masterson leaves, Perez coming on in the Cleveland 6th. Fans having a good time on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon. And here is Rafael Perez, who has won 2 games in this series out of the bullpen.
Third appearance for Perez during the 4-game series. He worked an inning and 2/3 in last night's game. Gave up just a hit, a single to Marquez. That was erased on a double play off the bat of Nolan Reimel. And then he struck out Matt Wieters to end his outing. So he is on here trying to keep it a 4-run game.
Orioles bouncing back after Cleveland finally got to Mattis for a run in the top of the 6th, and the Birds get it right back. So PA showing a little respect here by Eric Wedge as he's hot. He comes up, so they go to the bullpen and get the lefty to face him.
What? I didn't do anything. Huh? I didn't do anything. Hey, did you get on the last night? Did you get those yesterday? I got it.
PA now is working on a hitting streak that has reached 5 in this game. Throw to first. And getting back is Asturis. Let's go back to the 3rd inning as he hit it out the other way.
A 2-run home run into the bullpen in left center. His 7th of the season. That came against Justin Masterson, part of a 4-run inning. And Felix PA has been hitting the ball hard. Getting a chance to play a little bit more and is taking full advantage of it.
As Torres runs, swinging a line drive to left that hangs up for Laporta, who has it for the out, and the inning ends. We'll head to the 7th at Camden Yards. The Orioles have a 5-1 lead. Dunn is working to the 7th inning for the first time, 1 run. Felix PA, he's hot. Hit a 2-run home run. Ty Wigginton today has a couple of base hits, and he knocked over the catcher at the plate. Text in your vote now. Have your voice heard, A, B, or C, to 51862. 5-1 game. Sorry, Buck. We go to the 7th.
Mattis out to work the 7th inning. He has not pitched 6 complete innings in his major league career. He's just accomplished that and also established a new career high for strikeouts with 8.
Here is Matt Laporta leading off. High fly ball to left. There's PA in the corner. And 1 down on 1 pitch. Buck, with the development of young pitchers, how critical is it for Mattis to get this big first out of the way, which is getting deep into a game? Because we mentioned his deepest prior to today was 5 2/3, in particular with what he told you about his approach.
Yeah, I think it is a big step in the right direction, and all of these skills are acquired. It certainly takes time for young players to learn how to pitch deep into the game, learn how to reach back and dig down deep to gather some strength to close out innings late in the game. I love the way he pitched in the 6th inning with runners at the corners and struck out Johnny Peralta, never really trying to muscle his way through the at-bat, just continued to pitch and used his curveball for that big strikeout.
Ground ball sharply into 3rd. Wigginton gobbles it up and gets it across, 2 men down. So Mattis has 2 quick outs here in the 7th inning.
I think the one thing I'd like to see from young pitchers is the ability to walk off the mound with their team, whether it's the end of the 7th, end of the 8th, or end of the 9th. Just that feeling of not walking off the mound by yourself, where you have to be removed from the inning, but just the ability to close out innings, no matter what inning it is, if it's the 7th, 8th, or 9th, just to say, okay, I did my job, I finished, and I'm walking off with my team.
Here's Luis Valbuena. Here's that big bender for a strike. High fly ball to left. He's there. And he's got it for the out. So Brian Mattis has done it. He's gotten through 7 innings for the first time in his big league career. Fans appreciate the job by the rookie left-hander.
Wigginton is out. And a good throw by Matt Laporta, a good effort by Ty Wigginton to dislodge the ball, but the catcher held on to it.
Well, 5-1 game. I think John Harbaugh just called. He liked the way he went into the catchers, looking for a fullback to block. As Ty Wigginton tried to barrel the ball out of the catcher's glove, could not do it. But the Orioles have a 5-1 lead as they get set to bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And there's the conference. Brian Mattis with a big smile on his face, and he should. And Rick Kranitz reinforcing what they talked about before the game and what he was able to execute.
Yeah, and to be able to take something into a game and execute it is a real big step for Brian Mattis. He was so confident coming into the start that he identified the root of his problem, the fact that he was not high with his arm angle. He had the arm angle up all day long. The slider was good. The curveball was good. His command of the fastball was exceptional. But this is a little more like Brian Mattis pitched in the minor leagues when he was called up. 7 strong innings, just a single run allowed. Big number, 4 hits allowed in 7 innings. He's been well over a hit per inning pitched. He had 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. That's a new career high, and through just 97 pitches. Those are the types of numbers you're looking for.
So talking it over with Rick Kranitz. Well, to put it in even more perspective, coming into this game over his first 5 starts, he had allowed 18.3 base runners per 9 innings. 18.3. And in this game, he allowed 5. And that's how you win. You keep him off base. Congratulations from his catcher. Boy, they were in sync today. Wieters and Mattis. So Brian Mattis, a job well done as we peer in from the bullpen picnic area. There's Eddie out there looking in over the bullpens. That is a beautiful view from Camden Yards. And the Orioles will come up now in the bottom of the 7th inning and look for some additional runs on this gorgeous day. Whenever that system got out of here on the overnight last night, it took the humidity with it. And none of us are complaining about that. Adam Jones, Markakis, and Reimold. Adam looking for his first hit today. He has been on base twice with a couple of walks. Rafael Perez is still in there. He got the final out of the 6th inning. And Baez now getting loose. So it looks like Daniel get ready to come on and work in the 8th inning. There's the 1-0. Good off speed pitch swung through it. 1-1. Now, Buck, it really is amazing when you look at the difference in the games when the starter can get you 7 innings. It just changes everything.
Well, you don't have to wonder what you're going to get out of your middle relief guys and try to pitch the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning. Go to your 8th inning guy and the closer in a tight game. It's a very simple game. And that's the real challenge for every manager, is to try to get into that 7th and 8th inning with your starter. And then you're really in a strong matchup situation where you can pick and choose when you want to bring your relievers in. It's always more of a challenge when you bring relievers in because you have to.
Adam just got a piece to stay alive. So the bullpen will be asked today to get 6 outs, as Ryan Mattis was outstanding for 7 innings. Adam got back in the lineup last night after missing 5 games. He is 0 for 4 last night and tonight combined, but he has worked a couple of walks today and scored a run. Line drive to left field, softly hit. That is a foul ball. Just did fade foul down the line. And it sounded like he broke his back. When the Indians leave today, the Orioles will await the arrival of the Yankees, and it's going to be an interesting series in the sense that tomorrow you have Jeremy Guthrie, so he has experience against Andy Pettitte. But then on Tuesday and Wednesday, you have David Hernandez goes against A.J. Burnett. And then Wednesday, it's Jason Birkin against C.C. Sabathia. And it's going to be a quick education.
Well, you see the pitching matchups. Pettitte, Guthrie on Monday night. A.J. Burnett, who did not win a game in August to this point, against David Hernandez. That's Tuesday. That'll be September 1st. And C.C. Sabathia and Jason Birkin. Sabathia 15-7 for the Yankees.
1-2 pitches pounded to shortstop as Dribble Cabrera will throw on the run and gets Jones and 1 down. Do you think A.J. Burnett has already ripped August off of his calendar?
Yeah, he had
He's not even waiting.
No, and it's been unfortunate too, because they were really gathering some momentum. Andy Pettitte has really pitched well down the stretch, as has C.C. Sabathia. And Jabba Chamberlain went to the mound today. They hold a 5-2 lead over the White Sox in the bottom of the 7th.
Nick Markakis hitless on the day. Takes down an in ball 1. For a hitter who uses the entire field, the Indians have an interesting defense here. Sizemore is really overshifting towards left center. So there's a lot of room towards the right center gap. You see Grady Sizemore, they're overshifting the other side.
And they'll do that on left-hander against left-hander. When Nick's facing a right-hander, they expect him to pull a little bit more.
There's a cue shot towards third. Perez, barehanded pickup. He fires and he got him. And Perez goes down to the ground. The momentum took him down. 2 outs.
Well, that's a heck of a play for a left-hander to go to the third base foul line, and he's really got his body in a pretty good position when he picks up the ball. Watch how he turns and braces himself on that back leg, gets a lot on it, and throws Markakis out by a full stride. Plants that left foot and really gets a lot on the ball, throws it right on the money to Marte.
So 2 away, and here's Nolan Reimold. Check swing, appeal. He went too far. Kevin Causey said he didn't check in time. Nolan is 0 for 2. He is 2 out of 12 in the series. He has extended his base on ball streak, which is showing of the patience he brings to the plate. He has now drawn a walk in 7 straight games. Hard hit ball that's trapped by Cabrera. He'll fire to first to get Reimold, and it ends the inning. Rafael Perez retires him 3 up and 3 down. 8th inning coming up. 5-1 Birds.
Station is the place to be for all Adam and Nick fans. For $21, you get a reserved Utah Street bleacher seat plus an exclusive I Live at 2110 Utah Street t-shirt. Don't miss the final date available for the promotion this season on Saturday, October 3rd, when the O's take on the Blue Jays. Go to Orioles.com for more information. Jim?
All right, Amber, thanks very much. I got to get one of those T-shirts there. Nice looking shirt. There's Danny Baez to work the 8th after 7 outstanding innings today for Brian Mattis.
Baez worked in the opener of this 4-game series that came on Thursday night, pitched the 8th inning, and gave up a run. RBI double by Sin-Shu Chu in that 5-4 loss. Michael Aubrey comes on to play against his former team, takes the position defensively at first base in place of Luke Scott, former #1 pick of the Cleveland Indians back in 2003.
Baez throws a strike to Torregas, #9 batter, then Sizemore and Carroll. Wyatt Torregas, the Indians catcher today. Bounce to second base. Brian Roberts will play the hop. And gets it to first and 1 down. And that looked like a routine hop, but that was actually a more difficult play because it had the reverse spin on it. And when the ball spins, you see Brian with a little smirk. That ball was spinning the opposite way before it bounced to him. So there's a ground out for the first out of the 8th. And here's Grady Sizemore. He tripled and scored in the 6th, 1 for 3 overall. Foul back on 1.
Danny Baez has really thrown the ball well, and to be quite honest, I'm a little surprised he's still here. I thought there'd be a club in the pennant race that'd come calling for Danny Baez. He's thrown the ball so well recently, and it just seems like there are a lot of teams out there that could use bullpen help.
Well, the deadline is inching closer. It is tomorrow at midnight for a player to join a team to be eligible if that team makes postseason. So quite possibly Andy McPhail has been fielding calls and or will be fielding calls by tomorrow. One is line foul the other way.
There's a lot of teams that are reported to have some deals in the works, including the Minnesota Twins. There are suggestions out there that they have claimed Rich Harden, a starter from the Chicago Cubs. Also, the Giants reportedly have put in a claim on Aaron Heilman to shore up their bullpen a bit.
So the Cubs now 9 out in the NL Central. Must be feeling that maybe they're not realistically in it, so maybe they'll retool and get some players back.
I think more than anything, it is a fact they are not in it. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts.
1-2 on Grady Sizemore, who continues to foul back pitches.
And what a terrible season the Cubs have had in every aspect. Injuries, performance. They're still 3 games over 500, but how about the St. Louis Cardinals? Nobody's talking about the Cardinals and how they have just run away with that division. 40-25 at home, 36-30 on the road. St. Louis has got a great team.
Taking high 2-2. Really gives you an idea of just how good Tony La Russa is. They seem to have to change some of that team over every year. Of course, they have the best player in the game at first base, and that doesn't hurt, Albert Pujols. 2-2 pitch, high pop, left side. As Torres is out, and Cesar gets there for the second out.
Well, there's some reports out of St. Louis that Dave Duncan might be moving on. Not that there's been any problems, obviously. He's been very, very successful in helping that pitching staff there in St. Louis, but he's toward the end of his contract. Cardinals have done a great job helping out Tony La Russa with Matt Holliday, bringing in Mark De La Rosa, adding to the club. And you can't overlook the impact of John Smoltz.
Dave Duncan has been with Tony La Russa since he was a young manager with the White Sox. Then he followed him to Oakland, then he followed him to St. Louis. Back-to-back fastballs, quickly 0-2 on Carroll. So I guess between now and tomorrow it's going to be busy.
Yeah, you would think the Braves are going to get Tim Hudson back tomorrow. He's going to make a start for them, and that's really interesting because they are back in the midst of this thing as the start play today. 7 back of the Phillies. That might be beyond their reach, but just 3.5 back in the wild card. But Nate McLouth has had a setback. Their center fielder coming back on a rehab, has re-injured his hamstring in the minor leagues. That's not good news. Adam O'Roach had to leave the game because of hip problems, and he's been dealing with a hip injury, and certainly would not be good news. He's provided some home run pop in their lineup.
1-2 on Carroll. Baez deals. There's a line drive to left, base hit. He hung it, and Carroll's on with a second hit. And I guess with a month left in the season, if players that are sought to be acquired, even if they have any kind of a hefty contract, teams can justify trying to get in the postseason for a month of salary.
Yeah, it just depends on how much commitment you have, whether it's beyond this year or not. Some of the players that have been picked up, Alex Rios, Jake Peavy, those players have, multiple years on their contracts. So it doesn't look like Peavy's going to be back to have any sort of impact on the White Sox at all, and Alex Rios hasn't had much.
Peavy pitched last night against the Norfolk Tides, the Orioles team, as Cabrera hits it in the right field for a base hit. Carroll's going to go to third and cut off by Estura. So back-to-back hits after 2 men down. Apparently, in one of his rehab outings, he was hit by a batted ball that hit his pitching elbow. And last night in the 5th inning, it was kind of an interesting matchup because Jake Arrieta, one of the Orioles' young prospects, one of their top prospects, made the start for the Tides, and it was Peavy on the mound for the White Sox, or the White Sox AAA team Charlotte, and he had to leave the game.
Yeah, he had tightness in that right elbow. He did get hit by a line drive on his elbow in his previous start, and that they had hoped he would make the start yesterday for the big club, but he couldn't do that. Paul Byrd, of course, starts today for the Boston Red Sox with Tim Wakefield. That doesn't sound good. It sounds like he's going to get an epidural to address his continuing back problem. And this Indians team, they're going to get a look at their new prize pitching prospect acquired in the Phillies trade. Carlos Carrasco will come up and start for them on Tuesday.
The rosters can expand on Tuesday. The Orioles expect some promotions that day. And then they'll probably get a few more when the AAA season ends. Here is Sin-Soo Choo. Rick Kranitz went out for a visit. Ground ball toward short. Cesar Astures has it and will not be able to make a play. That is an infield hit and an RBI, and it's 5-2. It popped out of the glove, or he might have had a chance.
Well, it's 5-2 with the potential tying run at the plate, and Johnny Peralta. Astures got a glove on him, but once his hand rolled over that glove, the ball rolled out, and he had no chance for any play. So a run comes in, 3 straight 2-out hits yielded by Baez. This is Dave Joust telling his outfield there's no doubles. That motion behind the head, don't let the ball get over your head, because the batter at the plate is the guy you don't want to get to second base. Johnny Peralta.
2 down. Baez got the first 2 outs very easily, but 3 straight hits. Outside, 1-0. Field the first, he did not swing. Peralta does have 1 hit. He singled off Mattis in the 5th inning. That was the first of the 4 hits allowed by Mattis. Vicious cut, but he fouled it off.
Yeah, Peralta homered in yesterday's game. Leadoff home run off Chris Tillman. So he's a threat. Jim Johnson starts to loosen up.
Peralta is DHing today. Ball and a strike on him. Slowly hit towards shortstop as Torres will field and get it to first. That ends the inning. So the Tribe settle for a run. They strand 2. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 5-2 Birds.
375. Very good fielding first baseman. He's got a 6-game hit streak, 6 for 16, hitting 375. Drafted by the Indians out of Tulane University in 2003 in the first round. So it's interesting. I'd like to see a chance for Aubrey to get a few at bats here the last 31 games, just to see what he can add to this team.
He's already been very impressive defensively. Rafael Perez stays on. Too tight, 1-0. There's a strike in the outside corner. Just Todd now getting loose, right-hander. Aubrey got into 15 games with the Indians last year. He was 9 for 45, including 2 home runs. Bounce to second base, charged by Valbuena, and he throws out Aubrey. 1 away in the Oriole 8th. Perez has done an outstanding job. He's come on and retired all 5 hitters he's faced.
Yeah, he has pitched well throughout this entire series. As you mentioned, he picked up 2 wins in this series so far. Interesting scoring last night. Winning pitcher for Cleveland, Perez. Save for Cleveland, Perez. Rafael won it. Chris Perez saved it.
Yep. Chris Perez showed a pretty good power arm. Here's Wieters. Takes a strike, 0-1. The Indians are pretty confident that they can turn this around in a hurry because they've made all these moves. They brought in a lot of real good young players, and they play in the AL Central. And they feel that because of the parity, if you will, in that division, that they can turn it around fairly quickly and get back in contention in that division.
Yeah, and there's certainly one thing that's in place that will really help you if you're the manager of the Indians, is Eric Wedge, defense. The defense up the middle is exceptional with Cabrera and Valbuena. And you've got Grady Sizemore and Shin-Soo Choo, center and right. They are both very good. Big question mark behind the plate, obviously. No Victor Martinez, but Cabrera, boy, he is a stabilizer. Wyatt Torriega's catching today. Kelly Shopik has split the duties. Grady Sizemore, former All-Star, also very capable defender. Luis Valbuena, the second baseman, has got great hands, starting to get more comfortable in an everyday role in the big leagues.
One and 2 on Wieters with 1 out, none on. Outside 2-2. Well, they're 13 under 500, and they're only 10.5 out of first place. The Tigers have a 4.5 game lead in the division, and they're only 8 above. So in that division, you can turn it around in a hurry, because even the teams that this year are better than the Indians, 1-loss wise, are not that far ahead. Good eye by Wieters, works the count to 3-2.
Yeah, and there doesn't seem to be any real dominant teams there. The White Sox appear to be getting old. They're old and slow and haven't really been dominant. They don't have the type of team, I believe, that's going to play into the next several seasons. Athletic, speed, good defensive teams.
From 1-2 to 3-2 on Wieters. And he got it. Good off-speed pitch. It was down and in, and Wieters couldn't reach it. 2 men down. Well, join us again tomorrow. More Rose action. The division action heats up once again. Jeremy Guthrie will be on the mound against the Yankees' Andy Pettit. Coverage on MASN HD begins at 6:30 with O's Extra, presented by AT&T, and then game coverage at 7 o'clock. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN.
Andy Pettit, Jeremy Guthrie will open it up on Monday, 7 p.m. on MASN HD. Pettit's been great, 11-6 with a 4.18 ERA. Jeremy Guthrie coming off his best start of the year last time out.
Well, we get a pitching change as Perez goes off. He has worked 2 innings of perfect relief. 2 outs, none on for the Birds, bottom 8. on a sun-drenched day, and it is gorgeous. What a day to be at the ballpark. Any day's good to be at the ballpark, but today especially. Here's Jess Todd.
Jess Todd had a rough outing here on Friday night and was charged with 4 earned runs on 4 hits in just 1 inning of work, including Nick Markakis' 3-run home run. So he'd like to get a chance again to keep this a tight ball game. He is in relief of Rafael Perez, who's been terrific in this series.
Young lady enjoying the game today. So I guess by tomorrow everybody's back at school, because some of the counties started last Monday and the rest start tomorrow.
He just ruined a real good Sunday for a lot of kids.
I'm just reporting the news. Breaking ball swung out of miss by Wigginton on 1.
There was a collective sigh. Oh.
Wigginton's had a good game, 2 hits. He's 2 out of 3. Well, but think of all the real youngsters that tomorrow go to school for the first time, the kindergartners.
And the moms that are saying,
they're crying.
Yeehaw!
No. See, these guys went to art school, learned how to paint. Well, it all depends. I guess if it's your first and they're going to kindergarten, that's when the moms cry. By the time it's the second or third, you've been through it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a couple hours off. There's some youngsters. They're hoping for a foul ball. All lined up. You got the gloves. I'm going to get that ball, not you. 1-2 on Wigginton. A little bit low, 2-2.
Guy's got some consistency going, a little chance to play on a regular basis, and because of that, the bat's come around a bit for him.
2-2 on Wigginton with 2 outs and none on. Good eye, ball 3.
Wigginton, this is his 6th straight game he's had a chance to play. Consistency, that's what will get your bat around. He's got a couple hits today.
5-game hitting streak going for Todd. And he's called out on strikes. That was a real good pitch. It caught the inside corner. Orioles go 3 up and 3 down. We'll head to the 9th, 5-2 game. $20,643 the attendance today on a absolutely perfect Sunday afternoon. The Birds are 3 outs away from a win. Save situation. Here's the closer, Jim Johnson.
Jim Johnson a chance to get back on the mound with a save on the line, a 3-run game. And last time out, of course, he gave up the home run. And that was a tough outing for he and the ball club as he gave up that home run in the 9th inning on Thursday. A 2-run shot to Andy Marte after 2 were out. Matt Laporta got a base hit. Andy Marte followed with a 2-run home run.
And here is Matt Laporta lead off. Andy Marte will follow him. And Luis Valbuena, the third batter. And there's a strike at the knees. Strike 2. Laporta's hitless on the day. He has grounded out twice and flied out. Oh, 2 is a bloop. Brian Roberts back, and he has it for the out. Back on his heels, Brian able to get there and haul it in for the out, 1 down.
Well, what a good sinking fastball. Really jammed Laporta, and Brian did a good job retreating and catching it, backing up from the infield. Big out, first out.
That was almost not fair. That was a terrific pitch, and it almost fell for a base hit. And here's Andy Marte with the bases empty. Ball 1 inside. Six, 7, 8, and 9 are hitless today. 0 for 13 combined.
They had been such an important offensive part of the attack throughout this series. Bottom part of the order really did a number on the Orioles pitching staff. Not so today.
Brian Mattis, 7 outstanding innings, 1 run on 4 hits. Danny Baez allowed a run in the 8th, and now Jim Johnson in the 9th. Strike in the inside corner, 2-2. And he got him. Was a fastball by him and 2 quick outs in the 9th inning. Time for an update on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. And how about this? Felix P.A. on a day where Mattis goes 7 innings and strike out 8. Felix getting the fan club going. 57%. He has the lead. Still time for you to text in your vote. A, B, or C to 51862. And Tom and Rick will have the results coming up on O's Extra Post Game. Boy, you start hitting home runs, fans notice you. It's impressive.
He's really swung the bat well, and he's taken full advantage of his increased opportunities of late.
One and one as Johnson tries to close it out to earn his 7th save. 2 outs, none on in the 9th inning. Chuck Sling appeal to third. No swing, says Bob Davidson.
Does he check in time? By plenty.
Valbuena has struck out twice and he has flied out. Sharply at the first. Tough hop for Michael Aubrey. He'll pick up and flip to Johnson, who gets there, and the ball game is over. So the Orioles bounce back after a tough loss last night, all throughout the rain, and the Orioles win it today to split the series with the Indians 2-2. And Brian Mattis outstanding to get the win as Jim Johnson comes on to earn the save. Final score at Camden Yards, Orioles 5 and the Indians